They're not mind readers, you know what I mean? Even though sometimes we think they should know why we're upset, they really just don't.
Sometimes we see eye to eye, and then sometimes she's just right.
When I met him being an athlete wasn't really something that I put a lot of thought into because I had my own life going on. I didn't really think of how the two of them would work or coincide. I just knew I liked this person and that we were moving forward in whichever way we could. And the more serious we got, the more I started to see the demands of both of our jobs were extremely difficult. And so I had to think about what I really wanted. And I had to make a lot of changes. And in my head, I thought, do I want to continue to dance and go on the road? Which of course I did, but I also knew that as a dancer, your career is not gonna last that long. Just the same as an NFL player, it's like a blink of an eye and the 12-year-old behind you is coming up stealing your job. And so I got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I want this with this man. I want a family with him. And it's not gonna work if both of us stay in the situation that we're in. So eventually I had to make a choice. Being this very strong, independent woman that I am and was back then, why can't he quit his job? He can quit his job too, but that just wasn't it wasn't an option. And because of what I wanted, I decided to pursue my life with him. And I'm not gonna lie, that was an extremely difficult time.
She's the type of person that was independent when I met her. She didn't want me to buy anything for her. She wanted to work for everything she had because she'd been doing that since she was 18 years old.
15.
Yeah, 50, excuse me.
And I think I held a lot of resentment for a long time. And another thing that people don't really think about when it comes time to marrying an athlete is that their job and their stature is so big that you really just become like a shadow in that. And that was so difficult for me because I was gonna be anything but a shadow when I was growing up.
I didn't know these feelings until I came home from work one day and she's sitting on the couch and she's crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? The UPS guy came to the door and he said, hey, I know who you are. You're Ephraim Salaam's wife. And just that little phrase from someone outside of our home brought everything to a realization for her that she no longer exists as her own individual person. She's now just my wife.
It was hard, and I struggled with it for a very long time. I think at sometimes I probably took it out on him a lot. I can honestly say that. I know a lot of women have this struggle and have these decisions to make across the board, no matter what your job is, no matter what your husband's job is. You decide between a family and your career. That's a very prominent situation that us as women have. And it's a struggle to get through, and I think a lot of the times we keep it to ourselves. We feel guilt about feeling that way. I think as women, we really need to speak out, especially to our significant other, and let them know the struggles that you're having, because you really can't do it by yourself, because it's not my life, it's our life. We have to figure it out together. We turned a corner because then he understood where I was coming from. It wasn't just me being upset every day and him not knowing why. They're not mind readers, you know what I mean? Even though sometimes we think they should know why we're upset, they really just don't. I needed to communicate with him. This is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I gave up my life for you, and now I'm following you around the country and I don't feel fulfilled as a person. And as soon as I could communicate that to him, he could help me navigate through that. We're partners, that's what we're supposed to do. And eventually I got to a place where I felt like I'm happy with this. The one thing I will say is I kept going. I kept trying to find things, and he always makes fun of me because I went to school for a million different things because I refused to give up. I refused to say I'm just gonna do this and not be fulfilled. I'm just gonna be a stay-at-home mom and not fulfill what a fire or a burning I have in me to fulfill something for me. I kept trying things over and over again until I found something where I was like, this is it. This makes me feel good. This makes me feel like I'm contributing.
If I had any type of suggestion, don't discount her feelings because it's a real emotion and it's something that needs to be dealt with. If you discredit how she's feeling and play it like, well, you have everything you want, that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about her own individual self-worth apart from your relationship. Everyone in a relationship needs to feel a sense of accomplishment, a sense of worth. And if one person in the relationship doesn't have that,
not gonna be good.
It's going to break down the fabric of the entire relationship. It's very important to acknowledge it and to work through it together, or it just will fall apart.
Make sure you subscribe to Famileague, like our video, leave comments, communicate with us.
And we will definitely see you next time.